We're back with Marin Biron. Marty, the Oilers were just 2 shots away from ending Canada's 31-year Stanley Cup drought, and they wasted no time adding offensive pieces in free agency, like signing Viktor Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner, and they also re-signed Adam Henrique. That said, are the Oilers the best Canadian team on paper right now?
Well, Jermaine, I really like what the Oilers did with free agency, and I mean, it sets them up really nice for next year. But on paper, I think that the Vancouver Canucks are the best Canadian team right now. I mean, they did go to a 7th game against the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs and didn't even have their number 1 goaltender. So I think with Thatcher Demko, the Vancouver Canucks probably could have been the team to battle for one of those, long drought with a Canadian team not having a Stanley Cup win. But when you look at Thatcher Demko, he was the 2nd best goaltender in the National Hockey League in goals saved above expectation. So you start with that. In the crease, they are the best team in Canada. Now you move to JT Miller, 100-plus points last year. I think he can follow that up. You saw how dominant and how much of a leader he was in the playoffs and through the regular season. I think you're going to get the same production. Elias Pettersson, he only had 34 goals last year, and it felt like it was a down year. I'm looking at a really strong season from Elias Pettersson. Brock Besser was at 40 goals. So you put all of that together, I feel like the Canucks, they lost a couple of pieces, but they were able to retain the major pieces, their core guys, to be able to continue to what they were building on last year. So Rick Tocchet and his crew definitely looking forward to having everybody healthy, and I think Vancouver is probably the best team in Canada right now.
Well, that might surprise some people, considering the Oilers were the ones that were 1 win away from lifting the Stanley Cup. So, in your opinion, Marty, what's the biggest area of concern for the Stanley Cup runner-ups?
Well, I think when you look at the Edmonton Oilers, there's always some concern at the blue line, right? Are they deep enough at the blue line? And Broberg played well in the playoffs. Can he play that way for 82 games? But more importantly, I think that the Oilers will have to subtract before the NHL season starts. They're already over the cap right now by a couple of $1 million. They still have to sign Holloway. They still have to sign Broberg. So there is going to be some subtraction coming up. It's great. They added Skinner. They added Arvidsson. They re-signed Henrique. But there is going to be some subtraction coming up here. Who knows what happened with Evander Kane? Is it surgery? Is it maybe, a situation where you don't have him at the start of the season? So I think it's going to affect the depth, not only on the back end, but up front. And we know that, look, they got Connor McDavid, they got Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. They are a good team when those 3 are going. But if they're not going, they need the depth over a season. So I think the Oilers are going to be right behind the Vancouver Canucks. They're good, but there's going to be some subtraction right now that's going to happen for Edmonton to be able to be cap compliant when the regular season starts in October.
And the Canucks were just 5 points away from finishing first in the Western Conference last season. I know it's still early, Marty, but looking ahead to next season, which team is the biggest threat to the Canucks in the West?
Well, I'm going to say the team that won free agent frenzy day, and that was the Nashville Predators. They were able to add Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Mercer, so not to play top line, to play second line, because they already got Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly on the top line. So I look at Marchessault and Stamkos coming in and be able to give them that 1-2 punch, that beautiful top 6 with the Nashville Predators. They added Brady Shea. He's got a ton of offense, but paired with Roman Jussi, this is going to be a tough defense pair to play against. And they were able to sign Jussi Saros to an extension. I know he has 1 more year left before kicking in the extension, but the start of the season last year, Jussi Saros was 4-9 in the first 13 games with an .892 save percentage, and still managed to finish so strong that he was 5th in Vezina Trophy voting by the time the season ended. So I think that Jussi Saros playing at the level that we know he can play for a full season. Andrew Brunette is 2nd year as a coach, and the addition of Stamkos and Marchessault and Shea, I think, puts the Nashville Predators as number 1 in the West right now for me.
Wow, Smashville should be something else this season. Heading into next season, the Canucks will be hoping to win back-to-back division titles for the first time since the 2012-2013 season. Thanks, Marty.